if you think that the Old Testament is as full of miracles as the New Testament when Jesus and Paul is going around. Well, 2 Kings chapter 4 is a good example of the many miracles that happen in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, and today. And I think one of my favorite from this chapter full of miracles of Elisha is the widow. And she comes to Elisha and she's desperate. Her sons are going to be sold into slavery because she can't pay her debts. And Elisha asks her, "What do you have?" A good question for us to be asked by God. What do you have? And she says, "I've got a little olive oil." And he says, "Okay, take your little jar of olive oil, get all the empty jars from your neighbors and fill them up with the little olive oil from your jar." Now that's not logical, is it? Because it won't go very far. But actually what she finds is that it fills up jar after jar after jar until all the jars of her friends are overflowing with oil. In fact, there's no more space for any more oil. And so she's able to pay off her debts as she sells the oil. And so she's free of that fear. What does it say to us? Well, it says that God is able to provide even when we think we don't have very little. I think that's a very good principle, to see what we have in our hands. When I travelled around Uganda many years ago with Tear Funds, something that how they worked with the churches and Christians out there is to see what do you have to in order to help lift yourself out of poverty. I suspect they might even have been referring to this passage. And often people would say, well, I have this particular skill, I have this particular thing, and then they'd be encouraged to see how they could use that to lift themselves out of poverty. And God was gracious in that, as he is gracious through Elisha to this widow. That's been my experience as well. I often feel like I don't have enough to do what I need to do to survive, and yet I can never think of a time when I haven't had everything I need for me and for my family and for the church as well. In 25 years of church ministry, I've never known something of God not happen because of a lack of money or people or things. God's work always seems to happen because God is gracious. And maybe you need to know that God can be gracious to you in your desperation. If you ask him and you bring the little that you have, what might you have? Might you have a little bit of patience? Might you have a little bit of courage? Might you have a little bit of money or things? Bring that to God. Trust it to him and see what he'll give you. And I think you might very well be very pleasantly surprised.